Sidebar note, we've gotten some rain. These are the tracks where I was coming in and out of the garden with my tractor on the many trips it took to dump this. And while I'm on that subject, what I would do is I would drive the tractor straight in. I would get the material to start to fall, and as soon as I had just a little pile starting to come down, I would stop tilting the bucket. I'd back up a little bit, tilt the bucket till it started to fall, and this way I would get 4 drops out of each bucket. And it's a bit of a learning curve. Every tractor has slightly different hydraulic controls. So when you first do this, in fact, let me show you that real quick. When you first do this, you're going to probably mess up a little bit and have to spread it with the bucket. Let me show you what I did. This is the far end of the garden. And when I first got up here, I dumped the bucket, and I didn't expect it to all dump out as fast as it did. So basically I got my entire bucket load in this one little spot that you see right here, and then I had to spread it out a little bit. That covers about 5 feet. That's a little too rich. When I came over here, not realizing how much I had put over there, I put some here, and this is a little rich too. So I may not be able to get anything to grow on this. Now, I'm going to point something out to you. This compost, when it showed up, was pretty aromatic. However, there was some debris in here. This water bottle, this yellow, I'm not sure if it's metal, wood, what it is. I haven't checked yet. There was also these exam gloves, like you buy at Harbor Freight, which makes me think that somebody was wearing these while either composting this by a tractor or picking it up with some kind of a loader or something like that. But there was a lot of debris in this. It was unexpected, and I'm going to have to get that out before I till all this good stuff up. There was also this very large chunk of wood. That's a 1x4 or 1x6, and I don't know what that's doing in there. I have not really examined this closely, but most of this material that's down here is a heavy concentration of cow manure. Looks like leaf cuttings and grass cuttings and stuff like that. To my eye, it does not appear to actually have been digested and broken down further by fungi in the production of mushrooms. So I think calling this mushroom dirt is a misnomer. I would say that it's not fully digested compost, which means it's going to be pretty rich in biological action. Right here you can see where my asparagus is, right there. And I don't want to till that up, so I didn't put any compost on it. And I'm going to make a recommendation that if you want to grow asparagus, you get about a 20 by 20 foot area and use that as your asparagus growing field, because asparagus takes a couple of years before it starts making spears of size, and you need just a tremendous number of plants. I'm kind of guessing, but I'd say probably you need 400 to 500 of them if you want to be able to have some asparagus. And the one thing is you don't want to pick it when it first starts to grow. You want to pick about a month into the season, and after that you don't want to pick any of it, because you want it to continue to be able to produce next year, which means it has to store up energy and grow big and all that. Plus you get seeds off of it. So if you're thinking about growing asparagus, do your homework on that. At some point I'll have this down to bare earth, and you won't see these little, like right over here is this little pile of some stubble and such. A little further over, right in here, that's where the garlic is growing, and the asparagus is just beyond that. So I've left all that open. But what I got delivered was some compost, and it's pretty rich. So it's in small little piles. Each pile is probably 2 cubic feet or thereabouts. And once this is thoroughly tilled into the soil, it will represent very little compost to the rest of the soil, so I don't have to worry about massive biological action heating up the soil so much that it cooks everything. And I'm going to try to get that plowed in this morning, or tilled in this morning, and my hope is that I'm able to do that before it rains. It's supposed to rain shortly, and I wanted to get a picture of what I've got. Now, the excess soil that I got, or compost that I got, has been stacked in a spot where I'm going to start composting stuff, and I'm just going to use the biologically active material that's in it to go ahead and compost other stuff. But I want to show you something that I did which will make keeping fire ants out of this a whole lot easier. Fire ants do not like the smell of molasses. So I got this, let's see what the brand is. This is Stockade brand Candy Treat 38% dried molasses. And I put out about 20 to 22 pounds over my slightly larger than 1,000 square feet. And I didn't put it down heavy, I just kind of spread it out, sort of like you put salt and pepper on food. And this will keep the fire ants out of my garden. Now, if you're going to compost, what you want to do is you want to put a layer of this on the bottom, and every so many, say 6 to 10 inches of your compost, you want to put another thin layer inside there. As the compost is worked, the molasses will work throughout the compost as well. This encourages biological action. It activates a lot of little microorganisms that might not otherwise be able to function, and it will help make your garden healthy. Plus, it keeps the fire ants out of the compost. So I'm going to be putting this on my garden about once a year. I'll be putting it into the compost when I actually build the compost pile up, and as I mix it, life will be good. This is my tiller that I'm planning to be using in just a few minutes for tilling the compost into the soil. And I want to talk for just a moment about the tiller. Right back here, you see we have a fill plug. We also have one right there. What you may not be aware of is that these things require oil, both up here and right there. When you buy one of these things, it comes with a book which will tell you what you need. Normally that book is kept right inside there, so you have instant access to it at any moment. Not very far up the road from here, a fella came into some money, got some land. He sent his hired man, who came with the land, somewhere to buy a tiller and some disc and some other stuff. So he took a flatbed up there, and they unloaded this stuff with a tractor. It was a much larger tractor than what I've got. I've got a small one. Well, the hired man was sent to go do whatever he was doing, and the owner unloaded this stuff off the flatbed trailer, and the first thing he did was he put the tiller onto the tractor. I don't know how long it took him. It takes me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to hook this thing up. But anyway, he hooked the tiller up to his tractor and went out and proceeded to till up a huge area to do winter wheat for his hunting season this year, and the little machine froze up and put an awesome load on the PTO. Now this thing has a slip ring on it, so you know the PTO wasn't damaged, it just put an awesome strain on it. So he took the thing back to the dealer and said that it failed. Well, the dealer tore it down and found there was no oil in it, and he had voided the warranty on it because he hadn't serviced it. He asked the dealer why they hadn't put oil in it, and they said because they always ask whoever they sell it to if they want oil. And he said he didn't remember the conversation. Oh, well, yes, they record those conversations at this store. And so they found the conversation where he bought it, and they played it back to him, and the serviceman asked him, or the dealer asked him like 3 times, do you want this filled with oil or something like that? And he says no, he could take care of it. But if you're going to buy a piece of equipment, read the instructions. And on my machine right here, see, that takes a 7/8 inch wrench to open it, so I know immediately what it takes. This one over here is the same size. I don't remember what the oil was I put in it. It's in the book. But just be aware of the fact that when you buy something, you buy a piece of equipment, you need to PMCS it and check it well. One other thing I haven't hit on, this is part of the PTO right here. This needs to be heavily lubricated with grease and stuff like that. And normally I keep this inside wrapped several times inside a sheet to keep it clean. And this piece right here, this piece right here, I normally have covered with a towel and then some type of a plastic or something to keep this clean, keep dust and dirt out of it. But that's off right now because I'm getting ready to till that stuff up. And for those of you that saw this mower is a giveaway. I have one identical to it, and this one is just for parts if I ever need it, because I know somebody somewhere is going to ask. With that said, Dysfunctional Vet, out.